Right now, the NFL Draft enters its second day with 2 more rounds. A look back at who the Packers took with their first pick last night. Plus, President Trump says negotiations between Russia and Ukraine are processing but fragile. The talks happening today and one of the key sticking points. This is News 3 Now at noon. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Arman Rahman. Josh is off today. Well, we begin with breaking news. The FBI has arrested a Wisconsin judge accusing her of helping an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest. According to a law enforcement official, Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Duggan is facing 2 charges for obstruction and concealing the individual from arrest. Judge Duggan is accused of intentionally misdirecting federal agents away from arresting Eduardo Flores Ruiz in her courthouse. Flores Ruiz allegedly tried to flee the courthouse but was quickly arrested. Judge Duggan is in federal custody as she awaits an initial court appearance. An arrest warrant and criminal complaint are not yet publicly available. This is a developing story and we'll have more on it as details continue to come in. And turning to weather now, let's check in with First Warn meteorologist Blaze Keller for your certified most accurate forecast, tracking a bit of an eventful day on Monday.
That's right. We are tracking that chance for some severe weather as we kick off our next work week. We'll touch on that in the full forecast because we're dealing with rain right now across a lot of northern and central Wisconsin. Let's take it into about Dane County, up into Columbia and Sauk County as well. Really stretching from Sauk City north into the Dells. That's where we find some heavier showers. It's beginning to rain here outside the studio in southwestern parts of Madison. So it's light right now, and you can always track out these showers by using the First Warn weather app. We turn to Walworth County. That's where we also find another group of showers. No thunderstorms right now, and then we turn our attention north to the Green Bay area where, of course, the draft is going on, and that's where most of that rain activity is right now. We're going to watch, actually, as we go further into the overnight hours. Drier air moves on in. We'll dip into the 30s and 40s underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. So the rain will taper off as we go throughout the rest of your Friday, leaving us with plenty of sunshine for Saturday. But Armand, as you mentioned, we are gearing up for potentially a big severe weather event across the Midwest, including parts of Wisconsin, Monday into Tuesday. We'll talk all about it in detail in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, thank you so much for staying on top of that. And track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather. And the energy continues today in Titletown as we enter day 2 of the NFL Draft. With 23rd overall pick, the Packers have drafted Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden. Golden tallied 58 catches for 987 yards and 9 touchdowns with the Longhorns last season. This is the 4th time the Packers have held 23rd overall pick.
Instead,
it's time, baby. Hey, I'm finna bring that energy, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing. Green Bay on 3. Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Well, tonight, starting at 6, the Packers have the 54th and the 7th overall picks in the 2nd and 3rd rounds, respectively, barring a trade. Picks in round 4 and through 7 will be announced tomorrow. And Saturday is the last day of the draft, but that doesn't mean it'll be short of activities. Yeah, starting at 8 a.m., you can attend a Draft Edition Farmers Market on Washington Street. At 9 a.m., you can watch or participate in a Draft Day 5K. You have to register to run. For the parents out there, you can bring your littles to the kids' draft party at Daily Buzz. It's $5 a child, and parents get 10% off any drink. Watch former NFL players, including some beloved former Packers like Amon Green, Eddie Locke, and Nick Collins, hit the field for a game of flag football. The game will raise money for Green Bay's youth football team. There will be NFL signings, question and answer opportunities, and a whole lot more. And starting at 1 p.m., there are going to be plenty of opportunities to enjoy live music throughout the night, from country music artist Brad Paisley to DJs and Draft City Music Fest. For additional details on all of these events, visit NFL.com. And don't forget, News 3 Now is your home for draft coverage. News 3 Now's Eric Franke, Packers insider Jason Wilde, and sports reporter Andrew Banstra are live in Green Bay with the latest on day 2 of the draft. And the Dane County Sheriff's Office is looking for a Madison woman after she left a jail diversion program. Valerie Sabotar was last seen Thursday on East Dayton Street. She was serving a 5-month jail sentence with Huber privileges. Anyone with knowledge of her whereabouts is urged to contact the Dane County Communications Center at 608-255-2341. And 2 people are in custody and 1 person hurt after a police chase on the Beltline. It all started last night when Monona police tried to pull over the driver of a stolen car near the Monona Quick Trip. The driver sped off onto the Beltline. They got off on Rimrock Road where the driver crashed into a minivan. A young passenger of the minivan suffered non-life-threatening injuries while the minivan driver did not. And the driver and passenger tried to run away while the third passenger did not. The driver faces multiple charges, including an OWI. Meanwhile, police arrested the passengers for their involvement in the crash. And the Trump administration is trying to put pressure on Russia and Ukraine to finalize a peace deal. Negotiations are continuing today as Russia launched another strike overnight on Kyiv. Natalie Brand has the latest reaction from the White House.
As President Trump left the White House headed for Rome, he described talks between Russia and Ukraine as fragile but coming along.
We're going to try and get out of war so that we can save 5,000 people a week. I think we're pretty close.
President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is in Moscow Friday to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin for a 4th time. It comes as Ukraine says Russia fired more than 100 drones overnight, killing multiple people. An elderly woman and child are reported to be among the victims. Just Thursday, President Trump called for Putin to stop the bombing and said the U.S. is putting pressure on Russia. He was asked what concessions Moscow is prepared to make.
Stopping, taking the whole country, pretty big concession.
A major sticking point in negotiations is Crimea, seized by Russia in 2014. In a new interview with Time magazine, President Trump said Crimea will stay with Russia.
They made a decision. There wasn't a bullet fired. There was no fighting. There was no anything. They just handed it over. Now they say, well, can you get it back? I think that's going to be a very difficult thing to do.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov spoke to CBS News Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan about the negotiations.
We are really polite people, and unlike some others, we never discuss in public what is being discussed in negotiations. Otherwise, negotiations are not serious.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said his country will not recognize Russian control of Crimea. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Zelensky and Trump will both be in Rome for Pope Francis's funeral. The president was asked if he would be meeting with Zelensky there, and he said, quote, "It's possible." And to Vatican City, where mourners keep filing into St. Peter's Basilica to spend a few final moments in Pope Francis's presence before his coffin is sealed tonight. The Vatican says as of noon Rome time, 150,000 visitors paid homage to the 88-year-old who died Monday. After the funeral, there will be a nearly 4-mile-long procession to the Basilica of St. Mary Major, where Francis chose to be buried.
You know, he'll be buried in the other church, only in a simple coffin. What do you think of this?
It's a very beautiful gesture. It's really amazing what he's doing. He's showing that he's not better than anyone. He's just a simple man.
The funeral mass begins at 4 a.m. Eastern Time. It's expected to last about an hour and a half and will be mostly in Latin. You can watch the funeral on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. And some sad news to report from News 3 Now. Elizabeth Murphy Burns, who led Morgan Murphy Media for 43 years, has died. Born into the media business, Burns began her career at just 14 years old, selling classified ads for her family's newspaper. After attending the University of Arizona, she entered broadcasting and owned and operated a radio station by age 25 before rejoining her family's management team. In 1982, she became vice president of what would later become Morgan Murphy Media. Burns was a trailblazer for women in the broadcasting industry. She served as the first woman on the CBS Affiliates Board and was among the first women elected to the National Association of Broadcasters. Last month, Burns stepped down as CEO of the company and appointed her stepson Brian Burns as CEO, ensuring a 4th generation of leadership for the 135-year-old company. Elizabeth Murphy Burns was 79 years old. Well, coming up next, a recall on snack mix that those with food allergies need to know about. Plus, why Huffy is recalling thousands of children's ride-on toys.
Huffy has recalled more than 40,000 children's ride-on toys due to a fire hazard. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the Huffy Ride-on Torex UTV has at least 20 incidents of smoking or catching fire, with 5 people suffering minor burns. Huffy's 12-volt children's ride-on Tonka dump truck has 3 reports of overheating and 1 report of a fire, though no injuries so far. Owners of the recalled product should contact Huffy for a free repair. New England Village Foods is recalling 5 and 10-ounce containers of its 19th hole snack mix due to undeclared almonds. The FDA warns the products could cause a life-threatening reaction to people with nut allergies. Production of the snack mix has been stopped temporarily. Consumers should return the products for a full refund. And fast food chain Jack in the Box plans to close up to 200 underperforming restaurants, with the bulk of locations expected to shutter by the end of the year. The company says it's hoping to pare down spending. Jack in the Box executives also told its investors this week that it's looking to sell its Del Taco restaurants. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
And here's a look at the current stock numbers. The Dow is down 42, the Nasdaq is up 185, and the S&P 500 is up 21. And our call for action volunteers are in the building, taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You can call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call for action. And then later on Live at 4, it's day 2 of the NFL Draft. Our team coverage continues with the sights, sounds, and analysis of the second and third rounds. Welcome back. Pam is out of the radio barn for today, so here are your farm numbers. Well, it's a busy weekend in Madison. Both the Crazy Legs race and the Mifflin Street Block Party take place tomorrow. The city has announced closures for the block party. They're on your screen right now. West Mifflin, West Dayton, North Bedford, and North Bassett Street. Those start at 8 a.m. and are expected to last until 8 p.m. on Saturday. And that's on top of the closures for Crazy Legs. They're on your screen. West Gilman, Langdon, and Walnut Street. That's alongside Old University Avenue. Thankfully, those closures are expected to be much shorter. They begin at 9:50 a.m. with the event scheduled to end at noon. Roads will open as the final runners pass through each section. And we have alert day conditions heading in our way next week. Blaze, what are you seeing on the radar?
We are looking at a large low pressure system with a more organized severe weather threat unfolding across parts of the plains Monday into Tuesday. We'll touch on that. And for all the events going on tomorrow, we are going to be clearing out tonight, and those clear conditions, quiet conditions continue into your Saturday. In the meantime, we are looking at showers through the rest of your Friday. A little bit cooler than where we should be for this time of year. Our highs should be in the low 60s. Instead, we're going to hang out in the 40s and 50s with showers ending from west to east as we go throughout the rest of Friday, especially further north and east. That's where the better chance for showers will be throughout the rest of the day. Future track, let's jump ahead to midnight going into Saturday. Cloud cover continues to clear with a little bit more of those clouds sticking around into the morning hours on Saturday along the Lake Michigan shoreline. But as we go throughout the day, a mix of partly sunny to mostly clear across central parts of the forecast area. Clear skies further south and west, partly sunny to mostly cloudy along the Lake Michigan shoreline. We're looking at a pretty seasonal day, all things considered, upper 50s to low 60s. So it's going to be a great Saturday to be outdoors, soak up the sunshine, because we've got more severe weather in the forecast. Let me clear up this graphic. Sometimes it happens as we go into the show. I don't know why, but There is our severe weather threat on Tuesday. We have a 15 and 30% chance of severe weather Monday into Tuesday. This is something that we've been looking at, told you about it last week. We've been telling about it throughout the rest of this week as we're gearing up for a more organized low pressure system to move through the plains and the Midwest Monday into Tuesday. Storm Prediction Center is already predicting all severe weather events like hail, wind, as well as possibly some strong tornadoes. Again, let me just clear this up real quick. So what I think, based on how this is set up right now, most of that severe weather is likely going to be happening in this red circle off to our west. This is the warm sector of a low pressure system. This is the most unstable air. What's likely going to happen is along this cold front, we're going to watch as a line of showers, storms, and possibly severe weather develops off to our west. And then that line is going to push its way north and eastward, moving into parts of southwestern Wisconsin. Out ahead of this line, we sometimes also see little discrete cells develop. Those could also pose a tornado threat. So we're going to be watching those carefully as we go into your Monday evening and then continuing as we go overnight into Tuesday. But again, folks, this far out, the confidence is there that we're likely going to see some severe weather across the Midwest and the plains Monday into Tuesday. We'll likely see at least an enhanced risk issued as we go into Monday and Tuesday. Here's a look at that line of showers and thunderstorms developing, and that's going to move eastward as we go overnight into Tuesday. So stay with News 3 now. We will, of course, keep you updated. Some good news as well. Have to touch on this because we've had a couple rainy days, to say the least. Our drought continues to improve. Now we're down to about 3% of the state underneath moderate drought conditions. That's down from about 5% last week. And we've even knocked down about 10% of the state underneath abnormally dry conditions, down from 42 to now 32%. So we continue to make great improvements. The next chance we have for likely some heavy rain is going to be Monday into Tuesday. That comes with that severe weather threat. 2 alert days. Stay with News 3 now. We'll keep you updated. And it looks like we dry out for the most part as we round out next week.
All right. Thanks, Blaze. Butterflies are important pollinators in our ecosystem, but their populations have gone through a dramatic decline. As CBS's Christian Benavides found out, there are small steps we can all take to make a difference.
Amy Riley caught the gardening bug years ago.
It's actually very therapeutic. People who have it will tell you this is the best thing they've ever done.
She's also found another purpose on her 1-acre lot in Plantation, Florida, helping butterflies. And she spreads the word, teaching classes at a botanical garden on how to create butterfly habitats.
What makes a perfect butterfly garden?
Having the correct host plant and nectar source. The host plant is what caterpillars eat, and nectar sources are what butterflies eat and drink.
Those sources have never been more important. Butterflies are in crisis.
A comprehensive study published in the Journal of Science found butterfly abundance in the U.S. plummeted by 22% between the years 2000 and 2020.
Among the reasons for the decline, pesticides, habitat loss, and rising global temperatures. Nick Haddad is one of the study's co-authors.
This decline is catastrophic. We've lost a quarter of butterflies over 20 years.
Native butterfly garden.
The study raised alarms for the director of regional conservation at Fairchild Gardens in Pinecrest, Florida.
Yet another wake-up call on top of a lot of wake-up calls that we've had that biodiversity is really in trouble.
The team here is focused on conservation efforts, including their native butterfly garden, a 25,000 square foot conservatory, and research laboratories.
There's an idea sometimes that nature is separate from humans, but we're part of that too, and something happens over here is going to affect us here.
A helping hand to keep these hard-working beauties in business. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Pinecrest, Florida.
The study also found 33% of butterfly species have declined over the past 2 decades, with more than 100 losing half their population. We'll be right back.
Yesterday in the test kitchen, I made a London broil that melts in your mouth. And boy, was it easy. Well, today, we're making the roasted potatoes that we teamed it up with. They're basic, but they always get rave reviews. So what do you say I show you how easy they are so you can make them on steak night or any night? We start by cutting up 2 to 3 pounds of red skin potatoes into chunks. We actually like using the smaller red skin potatoes since they hold up better and give us more color. Now, we toss them with some vegetable oil, along with a bit of paprika, garlic, and onion powder, and some salt and pepper. Once they're well coated, we spread them on a rim baking sheet. And into the oven they go for 45 minutes or so until they're fork tender. We're gonna wanna turn them a couple of times to make sure the edges get all crispy. And when you serve them topped with some crunchy fried onions, there's no telling how fast they'll disappear. And these go great with anything from steak, like we did yesterday, to chicken or burgers. So here's what I suggest. Go online and get the recipe for our roasted party potatoes. So you'll be armed with an easy side dish that is party perfect. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a tasty way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. You love your taters. This is mine.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you on News 3 Now, live at 4.